Howdy.
What it is, what it do.
Welcome to Coming Up for Air, an introspective podcast.
Word.
I'm your... No, let's switch it up. You go first.
All right, bet. I'm your co-host, Brendan.
And I'm your co-host, Jaxon.
A little spicy.
Ooh, a little zest. Am I Himothy today?
Say it. You won't.
And I'm Himothy.
Oh. What are you talking about?
Hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are having a good old time. It is the 4th of July, which is Post Malone and my mother's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, moms. I hope you had a great 4th and birthday.
And happy birthday, Post Malone.
Yeah, Post Malone season, shit, yo. Happy birthday, dog.
So if you hear fireworks at any point, that might be why, but we should be recording past the point of fireworks. So.
You know, people out here just fucking... I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
No.
All
right. Brennan, let's hop into a check-in. What are you thinking?
I wanted to talk about this video that I saw on Mike Tyson. He was on a podcast that had some old football players, like retired legendary football players. You right there, bud? Hit you in the back with a throw a little wrong?
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens, you know?
All the time.
Oh, man.
Pay the bills.
Yeah, you got to.
Please rate the podcast, please.
Oh, man. Fuck.
Mike Tyson podcast.
Faded thoughts. Yeah. So Mike Tyson, right? You know, they were like, you know, how they feel to be like, I'll probably butcher like how it exactly happened, but you know, they were like, you know, 30 mil for one fight, like the Jay-Z line said, like, you know, he used to say like Mike Tyson 30 mil for one fight type shit, right? And then he was like how did it feel to be on top of the world? He was like, I didn't find peace until I went to prison for 3 years. And then all of them looked at him like, yeah, like that's the craziest shit anyone has ever said. Like, what do you mean by that? He said, because there was like no one's asking you for anything. Like, I don't have to answer to nobody. It was just me, my thoughts. Like,
well, he does have to answer to people.
Well, yeah, but like
different way.
In a different way, yeah. Like he's not like, because people looked at him at some point like as God. You know what I mean? When Mike Tyson was in his prime, bro, like Mike Tyson was the fucking man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when he walked the streets, bro, everybody was in awe.
I once did lighting for housing, and it was 2 doors down from where Muhammad Ali lived.
That's crazy.
I think someone related to him still lived there.
That's
you know
crazy.
Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tragic.
Yeah, that shit was wild. Ray, rip to the fucking goat.
Anyway, talking about Mike Tyson. Very different.
Yeah, bro. Mike Tyson, he was a fucking dog, bro. Like, have you ever looked at highlights of Mike Tyson used to fight?
No, I don't really like watching people fight.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like, hold on, let me.
There you go.
Because I have to look at you.
Yeah, there you
Yeah. Mike Tyson used to be a fucking animal. Like, when he would hit you, bro, your whole soul felt that shit.
He's the guy who bit off somebody's ear, right?
Absolutely. He explained it himself like he was a monster.
Just different person in the ring.
Yeah, bro. Like, as soon as he flipped that switch, bro, like, it was different, bro. And, you know, obviously it came out that, you know, he started to carry those tendencies outside of the ring and, you know, got himself in trouble and shit like that. But if you look at all the clips now, like, it's crazy to see how he's like, how he sees the world now. You know, don't get me wrong, he's taking a shit ton of psychedelics and drugs. So that probably has something to do with it. But
as people are to do.
Yeah. And so with that, it's like, I don't know, it was just wild because he basically explained, he was like, you know, when I was in prison, he was like, I just found peace. And then I realized, like, what is life without peace? And, you know, he kind of said, like, you know, you could be at the top of the world. He's like, that's how, I think he said exactly, that's how he thinks God punishes people, is giving them everything that they want and seeing how they handle it. Because most people will fold under that pressure and basically give into all the greed and all the fame and all the money that they could have.
Yeah.
And then end up becoming shitty ass people, you know? And he was like, when I went to prison, like everything changed for me. He was like, I found peace. And I was like, well, shit. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy because.
This is Brennan's way of saying he's going to be on a hiatus for 3 months in prison.
Yeah, bro. Imagine just get myself fucking locked up. That'd be
Please don't.
Yeah, I'm not, but that's crazy, dog.
Shit, you could if you keep going 90.
Allegedly.
It's not allegedly. You already got the ticket for it.
That was a while ago. We won't talk about it. It's fine.
Oh my God.
That was a while ago. And technically I was going like 80. I think it was 85. No, 80. So in between there. I wasn't going 90. Either way.
Yep.
What about you, Jaxon?
I want to talk about getting back into film. So I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast. I think it was actually on the episode that I fucked up. Where I said Leonardo instead of Matt Damon,
and that's got my legacy absolutely forever. Shit on for it.
And you know what makes it worse is that it's because it's the first episode that we released, and we recorded the first 3 before we even released the show. So it'll always be whenever somebody goes back, it won't be until episode 4 that I make a comment about that.
Oh.
It'll be 2 episodes go by without me saying shit. And then the 4th episode is when I go,
yeah, that's tough ass.
But anyway, I'm a pretty big film head. I love movies. I love like learning about how to write. You know, whenever I originally wanted to be an author or like a screenplay writer.
It still can happen.
Yeah, I love like film. You know, I love cinematography. I love everything about it. And my mom loves movies. I love them more in like a technical way, I think, at this point, than more than just like a viewing way. But still.
Top 3 favorite movies.
Top 3 favorite movies. Everybody is gonna give me a hard time, but I really love Baby Driver.
That's low-key a cold-ass movie.
It's so good because I love Edgar Wright's editing and like his directing because I think it's super interesting. And
I'm a whore for someone who can drive a whip, though.
But well, that movie's so good to me because of the fact that when I have tinnitus too, it like the music incorporation with like
just how
the actions that's happening, everything is synced up with the music is super well done. All like the song tracks are like super purposefully picked. Like everything is really well coordinated. And like there's color themes and stuff. Like every character when you're watching the film has a color association. Looks like Bats is red, Baby is black and white, and that gets into a thing because of like Baby is like black and white because he doesn't want to be in the game, but he's in the game, and he wears a white shirt under his jacket. And throughout the movie, the white shirt slowly gets darker and darker as he gets more and more like
involved.
Yeah. And then like Deborah is also black and white because Baby contrast. Doc is green anyway because of money.
Big brain.
Yeah.
Over here. Biggest brainest, you know.
Biggest brainest. 2 is probably Shining. The Shining.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's I love this movie so much. I love the book more, and I want to preface that because I love Stephen King. I'm actually re-listening to Dr. Sleep right now, which is the sequel to The Shining.
Okay.
And that movie came out. Actually came out. It was like one of the last couple of movies that came out pre-COVID.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Pretty people pog. It's all right. I like Ewan McGregor, so I like the movie because I love Dr. Sleep. But so probably Baby Driver, Shining. Third movie, I feel like it changes a lot.
I was waiting for some dumbass shit to come out of your mouth. I didn't come out of you. The way you look.
I really do like the Batman that just came out.
Of course,
I won't lie.
Of course.
Or I also won't lie. The new Christopher Nolan movie, the newest one that he released, which was, I can't remember the name of it. Most people did not like it. It's like time travel related, but like things just kind of move backwards. Funny enough, it also has Robert Pattinson in it, but he's just a side character.
I think you just want to be Robert Pattinson already.
I just want to be friends with Robert Pattinson.
This is getting clipped right here, so that way we can tag him.
Yeah. I just want to have a conversation with him and like a high five.
Nah, bro. Hey, we want you on the podcast, dog.
That would, dude, him on interviews, he literally will lie about shit on interviews because he's like, I don't think I'm that interesting. And so he'll just make up stories and shit. Yeah. He's such a weird dude. I love this man. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, this is getting clipped for sure. We're just
what
gonna
is
add
this? What is that movie?
I believe in
it'll
you.
come back to me.
All right.
Yeah. But
crazy.
probably that. The third movie is subject to change kind of all the time. Baby Driver's pretty consistently up there, though. And The Shining is also pretty consistently up there. I love Back to the Future. I have a lot of movies. The heavy loaded question for me. But I'm getting really back into film. And just like, I'm excited to go to the movies again. I'm excited to, like, that was a big escape for me. It was like going to the theaters and like watching movies. And I'm not someone who really likes to go to movies alone. And I think some of that's rooted in fear, and some of it's just more of just like,
who really wants to go to a movie alone?
Yeah, I don't know. My sister loves to go to the movies alone.
I've thought about it.
Mom.
I've thought about it, but I'm also like,
But I like to talk shit. I like to make jokes and shit.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just don't think I'd be able to sit for like 2.5 hours by myself.
I guess I can.
I don't know.
But I love movies, so like, just getting to sit and watch. Like, there's a couple of movies coming out that I think I might end up going to alone because I'm like, I don't know anybody else that wants to go. But I want to go see these movies. And also, I just, like I said, love movies right now, and I'm really back into like studying.
Oh, Tenet. It's called Tenet.
Yeah, the movie's name is Tenet.
Or is it The Prestige? Oh,
no, it's Tenet. No, I know for a fact it's Tenet.
Hey, it's Tenet.
Great movie. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of really weird concepts.
Apparently, Robert Pattinson's been in a couple of this man's movies.
Yeah.
They're like, they must be like fucking homies.
They
must be homies.
Christopher Nolan just makes weird scripts, and Robert Pattinson likes playing weird characters. That's like his whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he played Batman, because Batman's a fucking weird guy.
So are you.
I love Robert Pattinson.
I think he loves you too. He just doesn't know it. My man went crazy, bro. Y'all saw that, bro? That shit. Oh my god, are you okay?
Love that man.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, that's kind of what I want to talk about. Is just I miss films, dude. You know what movie I love? Silence of the Lambs. It's a horror movie. It was a psychological thriller. I've seen that movie enough times to where my ex and like other people have done this too. Like, they'll send me like photos of like just like the screen, and it's just a random shot of the movie. Like, there's no context. Like, there's nothing really in it that could be giving away. And I'm like, oh, you're watching Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what the fuck? Yeah, you saw one frame of this movie, and it's in like an off-kilter shot that's like nothing. I'm like, yeah, I know that movie. That's Silence of the Lambs. You're watching it.
It's like the spooky shit that you stick in your brain sometimes.
Great fucking movie. Love that movie.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Also, 1918. Amazing. Originally, this podcast, well, for me, originally I was supposed to start a film podcast. I was going to talk about movies and video games.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, and because I just shit that I love. But here we are. This is also my baby. This is something that I love so much.
Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely like have a couple episodes like that.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be Patreon or something if we end up getting to the point where we want to open it. Well, I'm down just even for like film.
I'll be with it.
We could do like if we get to the point where we can start up a Patreon and it actually goes somewhere, we could literally do like once a month we watch a movie together and talk about it.
I'd be down. I'd be with it because I don't be watching movies like that. I stay watching the anime, bro. I'm getting for all my anime people, bro. Shout out to y'all, bro. Like I caught up on One Piece, and that's the only reason why I'm watching Black Clover right now that Joe told me to, because I'm caught up on One Piece, and I was like, I don't have anything else to watch.
All right, let's dive into this episode now. We've burnt enough time. Today for our main topic, last month was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, June. And we were supposed to cap it off, but then everything kind of happened, and so America
decided to take a little quick dump on everybody.
And so we're gonna kind of honor it a little late, but I think that this also is saying something by the fact that like it shouldn't be something that is only considered in a month. Same thing as like Pride. Like Pride shouldn't only be considered in June, or like it's that type of thing. But so we're talking about men's mental health today for our main topic. And and we're going to kind of talk on, what it's like in society, and then things that kind of bother both of us, the way that you can kind of counteract some of these things if you are not a man or don't really know that position, things that you can do that could help, and some other stuff. And then I think we at some point are supposed to also get a guest on to talk about this again.
Yeah, shout out to the homegirl Taryn. She's like a huge advocate as
We will link her stuff down below.
Yeah, she's a huge advocate just for like kind of reciprocating energy and being able to provide for a man just as a man, kind of goes the same way like with a female, you know what I mean? So just being able to kind of go back and forth with energy and being able to like what it is to like genuinely care for a man, because I feel like that's so misconstrued today.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
so
shout out.
I want us to talk about why is it important that we're talking about this? Why are we talking about this in general? Like, why is this something that's relevant?
For me, I think it's very relevant just because I don't know, we've heard so much, like, especially like my dad's like one of those OGs that like a man's man.
Well, I told you about what happened at work, right? About the me and Joe thing the other day when we had the blackout.
No,
it was literally yesterday. Oh, this kind of plays into the man's man thing really quick little story.
Story time.
I don't want to say his name, so I'm gonna make up a fake name.
Okay.
Anthony. He's the dude. He's shorter, big arms, big man, big man.
Oh, got you. Okay. That's crazy because that is someone's name at our job. That's wild. Yeah, that's hilarious.
So he is kind of an older guy. And
okay.
Our power goes out and Joe comes back and Joe is like, shake, 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 Sonora. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, shake, work, Sonora, working all the time. And we're like dancing, right?
Yeah.
And he goes and spins me and stuff. And Anthony looks at me and he goes, you guys nowadays are so different from when I grew up. And I was like, huh? And we all kind of like, and there's all of us are back here right now. And he's like, yeah, you guys are so, frivolous and so touchy. It's like you're kind of, and then he paused for a second. And I said, happy? And everybody goes, oh, and like is laughing and stuff. And he says, no, gay. And I'm like, oh, how fucking dare you?
No,
it's just like, what the fuck? But
yeah, just because like, and I think what that is like,
and I only told that story because one, I think it's funny, and two, because it ties into the whole like
man's man thing. Yeah, because it's so like I think like our OGs and like a lot of people who are older, like I would say like 80s and before. I want to say like mid 80s and like before, because like
even 90s.
Yeah, some 90s. I feel just because it's based on who their parents were and stuff like that, but. They're so set on like you're supposed to be construed a certain way, like you're supposed to present yourself a certain way, and I think that there's time and place for that. Don't get me wrong, like when you gotta stunt, you gotta flex like the whole like I'm a man type shit. There's a time and place for that. You know what I mean? Mm. You know what I mean? But like
I don't know. I don't even know if that's necessarily something that's like.
Okay, so let me reword this. When you have to get serious, like. Because, like, obviously, like, me and you are very playful people. You know what I mean? We're very light people, light individuals. And, like, you can tell, like, so kind of like how old boy said, you guys are always, like, vibing and, like, touching each other, yada, yada. That's because we're light, hearted people. We don't really, like, we're not very serious all the time. But, like, knowing when to get serious about your shit, like, knowing when to flip that switch is, like, huge. You know what I mean? But, like, you don't have to be a fucking prick the entire fucking time. You know what I mean? You have to be a fucking square.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, it's just like, and I'm not saying like my dad's a cool ass motherfucker.
Oh,
this.
Yeah.
My dad's a cool ass motherfucker. But when I say he's an OG, it's like, oh, I'm a provider for my family. I'm gonna work this way. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Like, very like, I I don't know, kind of put your head down and work type shit, and very like, you know, man up. Like,
I am the breadwinner.
yeah, you know what I mean, and very like old school, and like I obviously like respect him so much for that, but also in the same.
Well,
go ahead.
I think that also partly keys into like whenever they met me for the first time, like just on appearances alone, they were like, is he fruity? Is he gay?
Yeah,
And like part of that speaks to the change in culture and the change of like
of how people, because if you're, to me, I had one of the homies, I don't know if he actually listens to this, but I had one of the homies, his name was Alex, right? And I knew him since like middle school, right? And growing up, he'd always like play jokes and like kind of like how we are now, but since middle school, like my man's been on it. And then everyone always ask him like, why are you so fruity with people? Like, why you fuck around with people so much? And he goes, because I'm so comfortable in my sexuality that I know I like girls, to where I can say the most outlandish shit, look somebody dead straight in the face and be like, what? Like, what? You know what I mean? He was like, bro, I'll kiss you right now, bro. And he was like, and then I won't, like, what am I going to do about it, bro? I'll just walk away, like, for real. He was like, because I know I like girls. And then, it like, we would kind of, like, tilt our head, and then, like, he was just so bold with it, you know what I mean? Just because, like, he didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, who are we to judge him? And that's kind of, like, how I look at life now. Like, anytime I hear somebody, like, I don't even care if you're older than me. I hate when like older people try and like, oh, like respect your elders type shit. Like, respect one goes both ways and is earned, right? So off rip, if you have somebody older than you disrespecting you just because you're younger than them and they think that they can, you should whip everything that you have out and just lay it on their hand and let them hold it, right? And then let them feel the weight of your fucking sheer girthy willpower. You know what I mean?
I hate that you just did that.
All right. Because that shit is stupid. I hate that shit, bro. That shit makes me so mad.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, definitely, like, that's something that always pisses me off, but that kind of veers into a different topic. But I think that this is also important because of the fact that it's something that is definitely becoming more common in today's society, and it's something that really kind of got brought up with the Johnny Depp v. Amber Heard trial. And I think that it's something that TikTok has also really started to popularize, is like, hey, there's things that you need to like be aware of, while also like, I think it's subtly created a gender war that was always kind of been there, but it's only gotten worse, which I've spoken on that before. That's why I left TikTok originally. That's why I got off, because like that's all that I got. And I was like, and that's partly my own doing, but like, fuck, it was miserable.
Yeah, and honestly, I was on like my whole like fuck everything, like fuck women for a while, you know what I mean? And now, like, even now I've kind of slowly started like, not everyone has been a piece of shit to me, so I can't treat everyone like they've been a piece of shit to me. God, bro, my shit fucked up. But I've been better about like trying to reach out, or like if someone reaches out to me, like actually making the effort, you know, to either go to lunch with them or go kick it with them, you know what I mean? Just because, I don't know, you never know what happens, and two, I don't know, if you cut yourself off from people, then like, how do you expect to grow? Like for me, it took a while for me to like, you know, get over my shit, but again, how am I supposed to level up as a person again if I don't let somebody in and either learn from them and it end up being like something I needed, you know what I mean?
So I want us to kind of talk about this thing that is when and this was taught by a lot of people, and societally kind of is the standard of like, men should just kind of shut up and either suck it up or like bury your emotions, or like, you know, the whole thing is like men shouldn't cry, that type of stuff. And that stuff's pretty impactful. It definitely impacted me a lot on how I deal with some of my emotions, how I deal with things. That I have some stuff from a really bad relationship that has carried over into that stuff. Like,
yeah, and it leads to a lot of bad things.
You know, I think that's the reason for a lot of things that happen, and society in general is very, very hush hush about a lot of taboo things, or like quote unquote taboo that society deems taboo. Like even coming out to talk about like sexual assaults or anything like that is considered a taboo thing. It's something that you shouldn't, you know, is a hush hush, like you shouldn't really talk about that type thing, or like, you know, a lot of victim blaming, a lot of stuff like that. And I think it's pretty intense on that scale for men in general. Like, I want us to touch on first, like, how do you combat the whole suck it up mentality? Like, and I think that's something that's kind of ingrained naturally. And then I think we're slowly trying to dwindle that out, but
yeah, it's tough because you even have like teachers, like young kids, even because if you're not hearing it at home, you might have a teacher where you see a little boy crying and then they'll be like, oh, like, boys don't cry, yada, yada, big boys don't cry, yada, yada, this and that. And it's like, how do you teach somebody that, bro? Like, why are you telling somebody that, they don't cry?
yeah, or they're saying like crying is a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
And it's like crying is a sign of strength. You're willing to be vulnerable in front of people.
I've said it so many times. I'm so upset with the fact that I'm not more in tune with my emotions. Like when I do have the chance to cry and I'm upset about something, I try and push that shit so hard because I don't know when the
Homie pushing tears like he's trying to shit.
No, for real, bro. Because I don't know when the next time I'm gonna get this opportunity to like release all this shit, bro. I really don't be crying like that, and it pisses me off. Because you know how people be crying about like the smallest things, bro.
Which is also not good.
Yeah, but like I'd rather be in tune with my emotions.
There's a difference between being in tune with your emotions and then just crying for like, I dropped my bread on the floor.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't do shit like that. But like when like, I don't know, I've thought about some like heavy ass shit or like some shit has actually happened, and then I'm kind of like just kind of cold hearted to it. You know what I mean? And like it takes, but the last time I cried was watching the X documentary.
There is different levels for people. There's different things that make people cry.
Yeah, but I feel fucked up sometimes.
No, let me put it like this for you. There's nothing wrong with, a lot of people have different triggers, and you're not a machine. You don't cry on command. Not everything ticks the boxes for you.
Yeah.
I know people who have been to funerals for their parents and they don't shed a tear because it's just, that doesn't make them. There's a different solace that they have, and that doesn't make them. But they go and watch Marley and Me, and that tears them to fucking shreds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it like that's just there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just kind of the way our brains work. Crying doesn't immediately indicate whether or not you have emotion.
This shit's crazy to me, bro. That shit blows my mind. I ain't even gonna lie. But like to kind of, it's very hard to combat that, bro. If you're a parent, if you have little brothers, that's a huge thing too, bro. Siblings. If you are an older brother, older sister, yada, yada, and you're trying to raise a man, you should know damn well. I know women are really good about it and trying to, like, comfort for the most part. At least for me, it was, like, it was kind of back and forth, and I think my mom kind of finally got it to a point where, like, she wasn't, she would tell us, like, crying's okay, yada, yada, this and that. But don't raise a boy to not be in tune with his emotions or not let himself feel anything, because raising a numb man is like, I feel like he's handicapped for the rest of his life, because like then he has to redo, and I feel like it's harder as you grow older to try and redo and find out like what makes you like tick, like you said, you know what I mean? And what makes you, feel certain ways, you know what I mean? Just because, like...
Yeah, I think that a good representation of it is, like, when you start to do that, you're starting to raise a paycheck and a dick. And not in the sense of, like, an asshole, in the sense that, like, you are raising a person that is no longer a person. You are raising someone who has a paycheck and somebody who can provide sex.
Yeah.
And that is it. And like TikTok popularized the saying like wallet, like calling that as a term for men. I don't know if you ever saw that. But that was what like women would call men as like a demeaning thing, and like a comeback of like whenever it was really popular, whenever the whole "she belongs for the streets" thing kicked off, they would be like,
"She belongs to the streets,"
and he's a wallet. And that would be kind of the back and forth. Like,
yeah, bro, that shit is always like, don't get me wrong, bro.
This is going to be one of those episodes where it's a lot of us kind of like veering into
different areas.
Yeah, headstones, because there's a lot of things that bleed over in this conversation, just so you guys know.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. My big thing is like, if you're a dude and you're a hoe own that shit. If you're a woman and you're not in a disrespectful way, because I just said it for dudes, but if you're a woman and you're a hoe, own that shit, bro. Like, I know people who are openly like, bro, like, I really don't want a relationship, but I just be fucking out here. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I can respect that because you're open about that. This is exactly, and you don't have to be open, but if you're going to talk to somebody, or if you're going to, like, if someone's like trying to get to know you, like, I don't get why people think that's like a bad thing. Like, if you're open about who you are and you're so confident in yourself in every single way, if someone doesn't vibe with you, that person's not meant to vibe with you. You know what I mean? Because eventually you'll probably meet somebody that'll be like, oh, all right, cool. Like,
if you're in that dick and dash type of mindset, it's fine.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing, bro, because eventually, hopefully, you grow up out of it. You know what I mean? Some people take longer than others, but if you,
some people just live like that.
Some people just be living a dirty life.
It's fine.
And, you know, some people end up growing up from it, and like, you're right, some people don't. And I'm cool with it. Like, I got homies that, you know, slang and do whatever they want to do, and I'm like, you know, good for you, dog. But for me, like, I was talking to
fucking duck.
Yeah, little fucking duck, you know. I can't come up with one off the rip. Faded thoughts. I was talking to old boy behind the bar today, and he was like, you never wanted to like just have like a mindless fuck like real quick just to like get a nut off, yada yada, this and that. And I'm like, bro, I don't see a point to that, because for me,
like a night.
I hate you. I actually hate you.
Me and my roommates just do this all the time.
Yeah, I know. And for me, it's like, I don't see a point to that, because for me, if I'm already alone in this area, right, adding you to this area for 30 to an hour is not gonna fucking, when you leave.
When you shoot and scoot, goodbye. Because 9 times out of 10, you don't even spend the night. You know what I mean? Oh.
I don't know how that goes.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
But regardless, like, I'm still alone.
Nah, my homie do the cold way. He says, so when your Uber coming?
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
I bet you could guess which one it is, too.
Oh, for sure. That's wild. That's wild. But, like, for me, it's just, like, it's I don't know. I feel like, so with the whole, like, wallet thing, there's so many men that are, like, dead ass, like, simps out there, bro. Like, I
wouldn't even say it's just that. There's so many men who are just like, this is my worth. I'm a breadwinner, and that's what I'm supposed to be.
And it's crazy how they just be throwing shit around, bro.
I think we see it a lot at our work now, too.
Oh, like a motherfucker,
we literally
bro.
had someone tonight who came in, and it's an older dude. He's like, has to be 55 to 60. And there's a girl sitting down, same age as me. I can almost guarantee it. Like, she gets carded when she orders. They sit down. I go bring out their food, and then I look at them and I go. I place the food down and I said, either there's one of two things that this is, and then they were like, oh, can we get whatever the fuck they needed? And they hold in hands when I come back out. I said, I know what it is now.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, bro. Because like,
unless she got the most baller skincare routine.
Yeah, bro.
And she ain't be sharing it with him.
Like, and like, for me, obviously, you know, they know that they can make that happen, like the whole sugar daddy thing, yada yada. Like, I'm gonna get with somebody older, blah blah blah. Especially if they have money, like they know that they can do that shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think it's crazy that men think it's a flex as an older man to just be throwing around money like that, and then that's how you keep that girl around.
I was gonna say, I don't think the flex is the money part. I think the flex is the woman part.
Yeah, but to do that,
which is fucked. Women aren't prizes.
Yeah, it's not something that you just fucking show off. You know what I mean? And then 9 times out of 10, like I'm sure there's been stories about it. I'm sure you've seen, like, you know, people who come out about it and they're like, yo, I just did it because I needed money, yada yada, this and that. Like, I went from this to this. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's fucked to even think that that's like most of the situations or even any of the situations. And for me, it's just like,
which goes in to like the eye candy, like
that whole trophy wife bullshit.
Not
like,
even just like that, but like the men also can be eye candy. Like there are people who have men as eye candy, and like I've been called eye candy before.
It's because you're an attractive man,
but
like a guy,
and it's not something that I enjoy. I'm like, that's not what I want you to call me. That's not what I want other people to call me. Like,
yeah, no, I feel you, and it's just like, I don't know, that shit's fucking crazy to me because
I think
you could be doing so much more with that. Like with the amount of money, I saw some article that some lady was paying, like you said, like some dude, like I think $14K a month for him to be her boyfriend.
how do we break the habit? How do we break the mindset of the suck it up mindset? How do we go about breaking that? How do
Wrap that
we
bitch around.
how do you force people to start talking about the things that bother us?
You can't force nobody to do shit. One and two, for
How
me,
do we cultivate a culture that allows for that to happen?
being the first people to open up. And sometimes people don't even want to hear it, but it's like for me, I'm such an open book with people. Like I'll tell people whatever they want to know or whatever they ask, because for me, I don't give a fuck. Because like I said, my mindset to a lot of people is, who are you to judge me? I'm sure you're just as fucking tainted as I am. You know what I mean? Not in a bad way, but like everyone has their shit.
Obviously, one of the ways that we've seen it the most of like society kind of being like, shut up, or like, men don't have to deal with anything, or like men don't face problems, or, whatever, is to call back to the Depp v. Heard trial. There's that audio, that recording of her where she tells like him like, oh yeah, sure, Johnny, like go out to the public or go to the courts and tell the world that I, Johnny Depp, a man, was abused by my significant other or by my wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, what a fucking telling audio.
Yeah.
And before this, because don't get me wrong, I think they both have done fucked up stuff, but Amber's super fucked. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's a quick aside.
Yeah.
That always makes me think about, do you remember years back when Terry Crews came out about some sexual assault stuff that happened to him, and then everybody laughed at him?
Yeah, because he was a big ass dude.
He's a big ass dude, and he was one of the first men to famous men, especially, to like publicly
Come
say
out
like,
about something.
hey, this happened to me and I wasn't okay with it, and he like was crying about it.
Yeah,
like literally, like they're on either trial or like during an interview, like he starts crying about it.
Yeah.
And you can like hear and see the pain, and everybody laughed at him.
Yeah. That shit is fucking nuts.
They still do today. I had somebody bring it up in my life the other day about like, got me looking out here like Terry Crews, and I was like,
he said we should not still be doing this.
Dude, that guy was sexually assaulted.
Yeah, and a lot of people look at it, you hear the quotes of like, oh, you probably wanted it, yada yada, this and that. And that shit fucking blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah,
that should be wild, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. And with the whole like I said before, I think the biggest thing with like the whole suck it up, be a man, or men don't cry, yada yada, is like, we have to be, if you are a person in tune, if you are a person who's like very open minded, very confident in yourself, and no one's ever truly like at their peak confidence in themselves. Obviously you can keep like growing, and there's always more room to grow, more room to keep evolving as a person. But I think the people who are kind of aware to it and do see it need to be more open about it, and need to call the dickheads out. Sometimes like there's some cocky ass motherfuckers that if you call them out, all they can do is fucking stutter. And I'll tell you what, bro, sometimes I haven't seen a fight happen in so long, bro, but let me tell you something. I think sometimes some people just need to scrap. Some people need their ass beat in like the nicest way possible. Not like a knock you out, stiff arm, like, and keep hitting you. Like just a quick 1-2, make you realize that you ain't shit, bro, and then you kind of come to earth real quick.
I think that you touched on something that's pretty important, which is that men aren't all the same, which is where some of the like, I think the societal tension or like hate towards men has formed is like they're very popular, fuck all men or kill all men thing. Sorry, YouTube. I know you hate that word. But the that was a really popular trend and saying, and like
just
hashtag,
the whole, like,
and like
the whole fuck men shit, yada,
and
yada,
it still is like but like you don't realize the impact that has. Like I get it, like men are scary, people are scary though,
and
like,
we've done a lot of fucked up shit. There's been a lot of, like, obviously, like,
yeah,
we've done a lot of bad, but also in the same sense, you don't even give them like the people who haven't done anything a chance.
Yeah, it's like it'd be like saying, it's the same thing as like going and turning around and going like, all women offer nothing but washing dishes, like being cooking, like all women belong in the kitchen because that's all that they're good at, which isn't even remotely true. Like you know, it's the same thing of like, if you mass categorize people as a whole,
then you're off rip fucking
creating problems.
You're already fucking people over from the jump.
Extremism is probably the worst thing that you can do, and the moment you kind of step into that line, that boundary, like it
just goes into the whole, like, don't judge a book by its cover type shit. You know what I mean?
You know,
like, make your opinions and your decisions, because everyone's entitled to a fucking opinion. It's like human nature to judge somebody, but make your opinions based off of who that person is to you. Like, yeah, you know, there's some times where you're like, oh, I don't like this person because, you know, they did this to me in the past, or yada, yada, this and that. But if I meet this person aside from whomever they know, and that person is a solid ass person to me so far, then I got no beef with them. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like, I'll never, like, if it's one of my, like, if you told me, like, yo, I hate this person, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be like, fuck that person. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just, that's obviously some homie shit, but I don't know. It's just kind of like make your opinions out based off of your own shit. You know what I mean? Like, don't just go off rip of what you think somebody is.
This is one of my pieces of advice to women. If you have men in your life that you love and care about and are frustrated with men in general, like, this is one of the most harmful things that you can honestly say. And I know that you're out there, women, because I look at our stats. It's like almost 50-50. A lot of times I'll hear men are awful or fuck all men or something along those lines, where it is a general statement saying that men equal bad. And then they look at me, because I'm clearly in this conversation, and they go, oh, but not you. Oh, but you're different. Oh, you don't count. You're the exception. That doesn't make me feel better. Because that just tells me that unless somebody dedicates the amount of time you have put into me and our conversations, or the amount of energy, I will never be friends with women. I will never be friends with anybody because of who I am. It is not a comforting sentence. It is not something that makes me feel happy. It is not something that I'm like, oh, thank God I'm okay to be around you. No shit, I'm okay to be around you. We're already talking. I don't think you'd be talking about something this heavy in front of me if we weren't cool.
Yeah.
But that statement makes me, at least personally, feel awful and feel like I should just bottle it up and I should just be like, yeah, you're right. But it's everybody. Everybody sucks. I've had awful things. Some of the worst things that have happened ever in my life were done to me by women.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Anytime I heard, like, oh, especially, it always happened at work. Like, where we both used to work, that shit used to be, like, on a daily, bro. Like, if you worked with a certain crew, you already knew how it was gonna go. And so, especially like, if you had a certain mix up of them, like, it literally was a certain mix of them. If you had that crew, you already know how that shift was gonna go, right? And so my favorite thing was, they were always like, you know, fuck man, and then be like, bro, y'all are just as trash, bro. What do you mean? Y'all do just as. My thing was, like,
you literally were just talking about cheating on your mans because a hot guy rolled through 5 minutes ago.
Facts. And my thing is like, right, so, and I noticed, because one of the biggest bosses, females that I know, has admitted this, right? Men always get caught cheating because we're just fucking stupid about it. We are dumbasses. We don't know how to cover tracks. You know what I mean? It is how we talked about it, right? And then she was like, you know why women do dirty ass shit and slash shit and don't get caught? Because they're just smarter. But to me, that's like, that's so devious, bro. That is so devious.
Or is it that men are more willing to trust women? Yo,
I've never really thought about it like that, but I'm gonna be
Because
honest
here's
with
the
you.
thing.
I never trust it. It would take me so much
here's
to
the
trust a
thing,
female right now.
The most common thing you hear is, "Oh yeah, she was checking my phone." Let me check your phone. Let me
If
see.
a guy ever asks to check a woman's phone, it's like, yo, they're fucking crazy. It goes both ways, dog. You should, if you have to check someone's phone, you should not be with
That's
that person.
wild.
You should not be with that person, bro. That's some childish ass shit, bro. Fucking break up. Go home.
That goes from insecurities and stuff, and,
Yeah,
and
bro,
all that stuff. But
and-
and this also kind of veers into the conversation we're entering right now is how our societal perception of what it means to be a man, what men are, impacts our relationships both on an intimacy level and on a
Platonic.
friendship, platonic level. That's the word I needed. Thank you.
Got you. Big Brandon.
Did you know Jonathan has a degree in
Kid?
journalism?
Oh, no. In
Yeah.
journalism.
Yeah.
You know he has
wants
a
to go
really
on-
cute blonde hair, blue-eyed kid.
Yeah.
Kid's fucking adorable.
Yeah. He was talking about how he dances. Anyway,
He has a degree in journalism.
yeah. That's why I want to get him on the podcast for a couple things.
What a fucking thug.
Anyway, if you're listening, dog,
Yeah,
love you, Kratos.
I'm probably gonna send it to you after this episode, so you'll probably hear it later on.
Anyway,
Shout out Kratos.
how it impacts our relationships, like on those levels. And I think that our societal perception, like I said, hearing that sentence alone, and I've heard it from people that are the closest to me they possibly can be, like, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, man, and I think a lot of people. So like, my biggest thing is like the men who have bottled up their shit. Like I used to bottle my shit up so bad until something like the smallest thing would explode it and set it off, bro.
Yeah,
I would fucking boom. Like you did not want to be around me type
tenors.
shit. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's kind of just been like, if you're a type of man that has built up aggression, has, you know, the quick fucking fuse to fucking blow up on somebody,
You gotta find outlets.
and not even outlets, bro, but like, yeah, obviously it's good to find ways to like let go of your aggression,
Dumpy.
but like for me, it's just more like I've had to, for me, not raising my voice, because obviously like there's a lot of females out there like, and men out there that like, you know, when they hear someone raise their voice, their whole fucking, you see their energy
Shut down.
bro. You see everything just kind of, and it's gone. You know what I mean? Like almost like their soul left their body type shit. And for me, it's like, you know, I've learned where if I get angry about something, I will physically tell somebody, you got to give me like 4 seconds to just calm the fuck down so I can talk to you like a human being, because I don't want to raise my voice at you. One, no one deserves that. And two,
You also don't want to say anything out of
pocket.
irrationally.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Something you don't mean. And for me,
that was a really hard conversation that I had to have with my stepmom.
swear.
Yeah, it was like on my mom's wifey. When I was younger, especially when I was in high school, whenever there would be disputes of any kind, she and I would kind of just walk away. I'd be like, whatever, like I'm just gonna not say anything. She'd be like, why do you walk away from these conversations? She's like, you can't just walk away every single time that something hard happens, Jaxon. And I was like, I walk away because I don't want to say something I don't mean.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys don't understand that. You guys don't ever give me that moment. And
Because that shit carries on. If you say something that you don't mean, especially if it comes from a parent, bro, like that motherfucker's gonna be 30.
The worst part is
and still think about it.
That conversation ended up with my mom crying because she came at me. Not my mom. Well, she was there, but she came at me and and she was like, well, you can't just walk away. You can't just like be a baby about everything. And like, you know, you have to stand up and you have to, you know, talk.
Yeah.
And like, one, kind of true, but also, like, I was smart about it. I was like, I'm not going to have this conversation right now when I'm pissed off. They're pissed off, clearly. Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, bro, fighting fire with
If
fire.
you want to have this conversation,
well.
we can have it when we're not both heated.
Yeah.
But so, like, I, like, turned around, I pivoted, and I was like, fine, fuck it. Like, we'll do this then. We'll play this game. And I said, like, I do this because I don't want to fucking say something that I don't mean. And then she was like, no, that's not why I did it. And kind of pressed me. And then I was like, I'm just not fucking happy. Like, I'm not happy living anywhere. Like, I'm just not happy. And, like, I kind of exploded. And I said shit that I didn't mean about just how I felt about life in general right there. And my mom took it personal. My mom took it as, like, I don't know what I did. Like, I thought I was doing enough. I give you, like, I try to do everything that I can.
And then
automatically,
and I'm like, and automatically you're the bad person in that sense.
And I'm
you
like,
know what I mean?
You're missing the point. I'm telling you that I'm depressed and I'm not happy. I'm trying to tell you how I feel and how I genuinely, like, my emotions are. Like, I'm in my room locked away all the time playing games because that is the only way that I'm coping and wanting to be alive right now. And you just told me that it's my fault now that you're crying because I'm not happy, and you're coming at me sideways and shouting at me because I don't want to talk when I'm heated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys don't understand. I'm doing this because I'm smart about the way that I'm going about this.
Yeah.
You get irrationally angry and try to just vent it all out and say shit that you don't mean, or, like, you know, try to all handle it at once. Like, it's okay. And obviously, Mom and Wendy, if you're listening to this, I love you both so much, and I am so happy, and you've done so much for me. I love you guys. And this is so long ago. This is in high school. Like,
it was just a big growing point.
Yeah, it's something that literally was. It's something that stuck with me because it's like one of those moments of, like, it doesn't matter who you are.
It's an eye-opening.
It doesn't
thing.
matter if you're family. It doesn't matter how long you've known me. It doesn't matter your relation to me. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, a man, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It doesn't matter what you are. There are people who will say shit and not like your response, and they'll make you say shit that you don't want to say, and it'll result in a fight and someone's feelings that hurt, even if you're the one going through it.
Facts. And with that, I feel like that happens, you know, more than ever, especially with, you know, being, it doesn't matter what gender you are. I think having parents and having that conversation is, like, a huge thing. And I think growing up, like, you know, like, one of those, like, kind of like the whole, like, just going back to the whole man up, you know what I mean? Talk about your fucking shit, like, man up, say it with your chest type shit. And it's like, sometimes, like, when somebody, like, if you push somebody to the edge and they fucking fire off on you, you push them to the edge to that point, you know what I mean? And you can't fucking flip it on them and be like, oh, like, you know, what did I do, yada yada, this and that. And, like, I feel like that happens more times than not, because as soon as they ask for something that they want, and then that person finally fucking blows up and lets everything out that they've been holding on, because that happens with most men. Like, there's been multiple times where, like, you know, my mom has talked about it. Like, even when we first dropped the first couple of episodes, like, she was like, when I talked about me getting over some anger issues, and then she was like, you know, what are you angry about? And I was like, I've just been dealing with my own shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, I still kind of I've gotten to the point where I can talk to myself in my head, and then that's how I deal with my shit. I tell everybody, like,
which also isn't the best coping mechanism. It's good to talk to people.
Yeah, for sure. And I obviously talk to, like, my homies. I talk to you, and you know, I talk to, you know, really anybody. It depends on what time and place. You know what I mean? And like, you know, if I can connect with somebody, you know, but also in the same sense, like, I talk to myself more than I talk to anybody else, in my opinion.
As you should.
And because that voice in your head is going to be there regardless. You might as well be best friends with that motherfucker. He lives there rent free.
I will say this, not to make it a blame women episode, because that's not what this is.
Yeah, it's not.
I blame men mostly for the fact that we are.
That's funny you said. Did you see the clip of it was like these people sitting in a circle. I forgot what YouTube channel it is, but they sit in a circle and this dude's literally talking about, like, oh, like, the whole man up, blah, 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 this and that. He's saying exactly what we said. And this woman literally looks him in the face and goes, and who set that up?
Man.
That motherfucker stood silent.
Yeah.
Because we have set up this fucking system, and the way that this shit goes, like, from our OGs and all the men in the past generations, like, this is what it takes to be a man. This is what a man is. A man is someone who's confident in himself, in my opinion, and stands for something.
Yeah, I think that the symbolism for men is slowly changing, but I think that we have set societally a standard that is unreasonable and not okay, and thus all of society has taken it upon, and men just want an outlet, and it's easier to blame women than it is to just blame ourselves, which is like it's our fault. We're the ones who did this, and there are definitely some things that like women can always do that would be very nice, very easy. Like, you know, like I said, the fuck all men thing is not favored. And that means also men, like, don't be assholes to women. Don't be like, every woman belongs to the streets. Every woman ain't worth her salt.
Yeah, I've been trying to get better about that.
Because you can't ask for one thing and then demand another. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't be a hypocrite about that type of shit.
Yeah, I definitely had to fucking... And it literally, it starts with you looking yourself in the mirror and, like, you have to make that change, bro, on some Michael Jackson shit, bro. You know what I mean? Man in the mirror type shit. Real life. A banger.
Yep. Yeah, I got nothing. I couldn't think of anything funny to say. But you know, it
started with us, and it
has to end with us.
Yeah, it has to, because I think eventually it will change, and I think eventually all the bad apples are gonna get weeded out, because I think a lot of our younger generations, you know, even younger than us, like, there's so much that they're coming out with, and there's so much that they're supportive of, and like genuinely trying to be more open-minded and more careful on the mental aspect.
If dancing with your homies, if, you know, vibing, if doing whatever the fuck, like, you know, if it's singing and dancing with your homies, if it's, you know, boxing and sparring, if it's, you know, whatever the fuck it is that makes you happy, that makes you go to bed and smile at night, or that makes you happy in that moment and make a memorable event or anything, like makes the day bearable, that is what matters.
Yeah, so it's worth it.
Being a man is being you, being proud of the fact that you are achieving whatever your goals are.
Yeah, and I think at that point, it's not even like being a man or a woman. Just what we always say, bro. Just be a good fucking human being, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard to be a good fucking human being. You know, you don't have to be nice to everybody. You know, you don't have to fucking just, you know, be friends with everybody, but respect everybody and come at everybody with the respect that you would expect. And until you get disrespected, and until you feel that, you know, you've been crossed a certain way, then you should never be coming at somebody. You should never treat somebody a certain way until it's been done to you. You know what I mean? Because obviously everyone's been treated a certain way, and I think we know how it feels. And, you know, we need to be more open about our emotions, about, you know, how we feel about certain things. And a lot of men do need to change their mindset on a lot of shit. And when they need to change, you know, their expectations on whether it be women, life, everything, you know? And
I do want to say some of the stuff that some of the stuff that we were going to talk about, I've kind of like pivoted off of it a little bit because of the fact we plan on doing this follow-up episode. And I think it would be good to have another voice in here, especially a female voice in here, to talk about some of it. But I definitely think that that's kind of where some of the stuff lands. But with that, I think it's time that we come up for air.
Vibes.
So, Brendan, Saya, Timothy,
that's crazy, bro. Pulls out a scroll. Imagine. I wanted to talk about
Saturdays.
All right. Oh, you're right.
That starts again next week, by the way.
Swear, I'm lit, bro. I'm so excited for D&D, bro. But regardless, I wanted to talk about, if we were superheroes, like, who would we be? You go first.
I think that I would probably be... Who would I want to be? Who would I probably be?
We can do that.
I think that I would probably be either like Doctor Strange.
I can see that.
Or somebody who has a lot of banter.
Who would you want to be, though?
Who would I want to be?
Because I could definitely see you being Doctor Strange, but who would you want to be?
Doctor Strange would be kind of lit.
Doctor Strange would be hard.
I would want to be Daredevil, probably.
That's cold.
The whole blind thing sucks, but he's my favorite hero. And he's kind of also not. That gets into semantics.
That's funny as fuck. The whole blind thing sucks, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm already halfway there, Might as well just zero out.
yeah, but everything else is fuck it.
I guess
and
some negatives, but
Mr. Murdoch is pretty fucking cold though.
yeah. Also, being a lawyer, I'm pretty sure that like if I didn't have to go through all the schooling for it and shit,
You probably would.
I'd love that shit.
Yeah,
I love
being able to argue with
being
people.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. 100. I could see it.
I also love studying low-key, like learning shit, and that's all about people. And half of being a lawyer is either knowing the law and then knowing body language and how to manipulate that.
and knowing loopholes.
That's the law.
Yeah, I guess.
The law is just loopholes. Anyway,
Facts.
who would you be and who do you want to be?
Who would I be? Fucking Groot with my stupid eyes. I'm the one that
You are the Kush,
Yeah.
is what you're saying?
Yeah, rather than Groot, Kush.
Imagine.
Imagine weed. Every time I would talk to somebody,
I am marijuana.
that shit would be hard as fuck. No, I real life probably would be Groot. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. Cause I would
think
just,
you'd be Rocket.
fuck you. Cause I'm just loud all the time and want to cause a havoc
You like, yeah.
and just like fucking arguing with people and starting
Yeah.
shit. I could see it. Who would I want to be?
Best friends with Mr. Kush.
Facts. Facts. You're right. I would be Rocket. That's terrible. Who would I want to be? Either the Flash, because I think it'd be cool just to like. What do you mean? The Flash is cold.
Yeah, but the Flashes right now is Ezra Miller.
Yeah, but like we don't. No. When I think of Flash, I think of like cartoon Justice League Flash, because that's what I grew up on.
Fair.
And so like seeing the race between him and Superman to see who the fastest man on the world is, that was one of the coldest things ever.
Sorry, you said the race, and all I immediately thought of was the boys. A-Train races. Anyway.
No, they did a.
The boys go crazy right now.
Yeah, they did a race to see who the fastest in the world would be, and the Flash obviously won. But
that's his whole bit. It would be really depressing if he didn't.
Yeah, but like Superman's stupid fast too.
Yeah, but do you know how depressing it would be if the Flash, whose only power is running fast,
yeah,
lost in being fast?
But I think it'd be really cool to be able to like run through a different dimension.
Imagine being the guy, right? You're the guy who runs, and you like, but I'm not the fastest at moving. Someone does it better than me.
No, never that. But no, the Flash to me is cold, bro. That man literally opens like fucking portals because he glitches and shit like that. Like that shit is nuts to me. Either that or Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, but not like
Peter Parker.
Nah, I want to be either Miles Morales or 2099 Spider-Man.
That's lit.
Because that 2099 suit is fucking hard. And the comics of him fighting Hulk in 2099 Hulk is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
He's different.
What a time.
I actually have those we have all those comics.
You should tell Mac about that because he busted a nut. Actually, he's listening to this right now.
Oh.
Hello, Mac.
Yeah. What's it called?
He listens on Spotify, so we can't tell that I was looking at the camera.
Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna have to bring some over because I don't know if my dad sold all of them, but I'm pretty sure we still have some.
You'd lose his shit.
Yeah, that should be tight. But yeah, that's a superhero shit. I would love to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man would be sick though.
Is there a Tourette's superhero?
Deadpool. I feel like if one superhero had to have Tourette's, it'd be Deadpool.
What if it was Black Bolt, the guy who like speaks
and fucking kills people?
Yeah.
He just looks at someone, bitch, and just their whole existence is gone. Oh, bro, that shit. That shit blows up an entire fucking town. That shit would be nuts, bro.
Funny.
Yeah, but I think it'd have to be Deadpool.
That's tragic.
Yeah.
Deadpool low-key a little overrated in my books.
Damn, Cam, you're gonna be so upset.
I think it's just he's just everywhere now, and everybody wants to be the fourth wall superhero. Like Harley Quinn also is like kind of on my shit list right now.
Yeah, because I mean, but also Deadpool I feel like he kind of started the whole fourth wall, didn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of his shtick.
Yeah, it's like the whole being able to talk to like the fans.
That is the fourth wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like that's like he started it, right?
Kind of. He's the one who definitely popularized it. Anyway,
What about you, my guy?
I want to talk about innovation in different fields.
ASU #1 in innovation.
So the college that I went to had a big preference or like a focus in innovation and technology. And so I learned a lot about the whole like innovating and what it means to be an innovator and how to impact it and like what that looks like basically, especially in the tech field.
I'm a businessman.
And that whole concept, which is super cool and super boring. But here's the thing. I was talking to a coworker of ours, the one who always brings in sweets, Mama Bear, the bartender.
Oh.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
What a thug.
We were talking about it because she was asking me for advice on how to get her son to be motivated.
Fuck.
And I was like, or she was like, when did you start getting motivated? I was like, I'm going to be honest. I have the disposition of like, I had a lot of stuff happen in my life. And then like, I kind of just always have the drive of an ox of like, when I want to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, when you set your mind on something, it's like, I'm going to do it. And I'm not only going to do it, but I'm going to do it the right way. And it's going to be the fucking best.
Yeah. Or damn near close. And then, you know, for however long I do it, or, you know, if it stays and shit like that, right? And so we were talking about it, and I was just like, yeah, no, me and Brendan talking about opening this bartending thing, right? And then I was like, yeah, no, I think right now, honestly, one of my big dreams would be to open a bar, like just like my own bar restaurant place. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of cool things you can do, especially with like as technology evolves with like alcohol and shit and like drinks and stuff. I was like, if you could even get all of your glasses to have like scan codes basically on the bottom or like ID chips that would go in it on the bottom placement, right? And you just tint all of the bottom of your glasses or whatever to hide it, or there are sometimes clear chips that you can basically do. And you have the top of the bar be like an LED screen.
Oh, and as soon as you put it down, it tells you what you have.
Yeah, it like pops with like details on the drink or like fun facts about the drink or like
That's
whatever,
fire.
right?
That'd be dope.
It also could immediately organize your checks. If you have it like to where it's a scan system of like, I place this one down on bar 1, for example, and then 2 more drinks follow it onto bar 2 and 3, and then I just joint those 3 together, and that's instantly my tab is made, and then that person can like press that part of the screen that's a touch screen, and it would just pull up their total instead of us having to put a paper out with like a cup and shit.
That'd be hard.
And then like even the concept of, I don't know if you've seen Back to the Future Part 2, but there's a scene in it.
But I don't remember a lot of
stuff. Yeah, so there's a scene in it where they're at dinner and they like press a button and out of the table a slot comes up and it has like smoothies or like it makes their drinks.
Yeah.
Same concept, but instead it would be like
drinks.
Yeah, it like basically would just be a thing that's kind of up.
That reminds me of Spy Kids.
Yeah, kind of. It would have a thing that kind of is always up, or it could be in the down position and have like a trigger.
That'd be fire.
And it would be like, it would come up out of the bar, right? And then it would be a weight sensor. So if it's always up, then it would be a weight sensor of like, once it's reached this amount of weight capacity, auto drops down and then runs through a cycle, cleans them, and then like the door on the other side of the bar opens.
That'd be so much money.
It'd be so much money. But the concept like of like
that's fire.
Innovation is what
like
leads fields in like is what makes people stand out. You know, if you are opening a company, if you are doing things, the reason that you want to innovate is because you want your product to stand out. You want whatever you're doing to be unique. And so this concept of like what you can really introduce with modern technology and modern concepts into fields like that are pretty standard and aren't even tech heavy is like insane.
Yeah,
you know,
I ain't gonna tell you like, oh fuck. As you're talking about it, I'm like, yo, this shit could probably happen. Like they definitely have the technology for that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
That shit's crazy.
And the idea of like, there are ways to do it without removing the human aspect of it too. Like, I would never have it to where like they can place their order through the touch screen. Yeah. I would want that bartender interaction. You want that interaction because that provides tips. That provides tips. That provides interaction. That keeps that worker there. That that cultivates culture and like this fundamental thing of like creating good human interaction. Innovation is only potent and important whenever it furthers the human condition. And if we are regressing from it, which means doing things that enable people to not have social interactions, that can really
like making shit robots, just robotic.
That can make things really pragmatic for future. Yeah, that's kind of like some of the cool ideas that I have of like,
it'd be dope,
innovating a lot of things. And there's some things that I obviously like are very potent in my ideas of like mixing cocktails. There are really advanced techniques now that exist in fast ways of distilling. There's fast ways of doing a lot of shit that isn't necessarily cutting quarters. It's just that there's faster ways of processing it. Yeah. Like dry icing or dry freezing, like mint can change the way that it tastes, the way that it breaks and stuff. Yeah. Like there's a lot of shit that goes in now.
The dry ice drinks are pretty cool though, when they have shit fucking floating out and shit. And it's not like gonna kill somebody. It's kind of fire.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can really do.
We're going to get there.
Along with like innovating in the field. Yeah, and I think that there's some stuff with this podcast even that we could do that can create innovation and really like switch up some of...
I'm a businessman.
Some of like the standards are just like, you know, interesting things that you start to kind of... The more you practice innovation...
Because you never know who listens to this and ends up fucking taking that shit and running with it.
Yeah, like and that's why I'm saying like if you are... truly somebody who is looking for a way to like further something or further a business plan or further something and just make a name for yourself, make something you're proud of, think of that thing and then think of what you'd really want to see in it or something that you'd like or some way to innovate it.
Some way to stand out. There. Yeah, you have to stand out. You know what I mean? Think of a way to stand out. If you stand out, someone's going to fucking see you.
And don't start with the innovations unless it comes naturally. But start with the basics of like, I wanted a bar that was, you know, handcrafted cocktails that aren't stupid expensive because there's a way to do that. But like the ingredients are made in-house. Like, you know, we make all of our syrups. We make things from scratch and things like that. And you do large batch orders so that it's not as expensive. And then you know how to like process it and you know how to properly take care of it. But that means you have to cultivate people that care about that stuff. And then you go from there. How can I make this better? So I already have something that's kind of unique, and I can take it up notches by introducing new facets.
What a fucking guy.
Anyway, I think that's gonna pretty much do it for this week's episode. Brendan, where can I find you?
I actually started changing all my shit to Killer B420, so you could probably find me at Killer B420 on like Instagram, Twitch, Twitter.
Nice.
Yeah, I just changed all my shit.
For me, you can find me at RQ on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. And you can find both of us at Up for Aircast on Instagram.
I think it's Coming Up for Air on Instagram.
At Coming Up for Air or Up for Aircast on multiple social medias. Look for our banner art.
Facts, bro. Hey, honestly, if you just look up Coming Up for Air on Instagram, we have a link tree to all of our shit, so I got you, bro. We're also probably going to drop the link tree. We could probably drop the link tree under our episodes. I don't know if you already do that.
Yep.
Okay, then yeah, it'll be there. We got you, dog. Don't even worry about it. But yeah, hey, be a good fucking human being. I love you guys, and
we'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, bitches.
Bye-bye.